plantation to prison, the historical criminalization of the African-American male, and we're talking to the chairperson of the Department of Criminal Justice at Tennessee State University, Dr. DBurris-Kitchens. And of course, Dr. Kitchen, I think we promised you at the end of the first segment that we would give you an opportunity to talk about the historical criminalization of African Americans beginning in the institution of slavery. Let's start that at this time.
Okay, as I was mentioning before the break, it was very important to make African Americans out to be, or peoples from Africa, to be people who were non-human, less human than people from European descent. So once that was established, then it was kind of easy, especially under the Christian religion and a country that was dominated by Christian religion, to legitimize the mass enslavement of people of color. And I think at the point of the height of slavery, there were almost 1 million people who were enslaved in this country. And once the ending of slavery took place, of course, and Reconstruction began, African Americans made great progress, great strides politically, economically, things that they were not allowed to do under slavery. They were not allowed access to education. They couldn't practice their own religions. They couldn't be free as people, period. But Reconstruction allowed them the opportunity to do that. But once Reconstruction took place, and I think there were something like 600 legislative representatives that were African American, and 16 or 17 African Americans who were even in the Congress and that were represented during the Reconstruction period. So blacks were making great strides, not only politically but economically as well. Well, it didn't take more than about 24 years before the passing of Plessy versus Ferguson took place, or after Reconstruction, that things started to change as far as, okay, we're going to take away your rights for political activity, your rights to quality education or equal education. We're going to make it separate and equal, which everybody knew that it was not equal. But before I even go into that, I wanted to come back to the Reconstruction period. What happened during Reconstruction also were the black codes, because I jumped way ahead of myself. Black codes were passed not too long after slavery ended. And those black codes allowed people to get incarcerated, people of color specifically, to get incarcerated for violating simple laws like vagrancy, not being able to prove that they had a home, not having money in their pockets, not being able to prove that they had a job. And they could just be locked up for absolutely no reason at all, or for very minor petty offenses. And there were no special courts to provide protection for African Americans who were processed through the system. They were just processed through very quickly. They were convicted, and under that